Welcome to Terror on the Tube, where we watch and discuss horror and suspense made for TV movies from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I am Gilman Joel, and my co-hosts are Pumpkinhead Peter.
Hi.
And the horror unicorn, aka Allyson.
Hello.
Yes, and we are doing another.
Psycho.
What? The Psycho. So, okay. Again, this is a video recording. Now, I have to always remind everyone, especially Peter, that not everybody's seeing this. So anything we visually do, we have to acknowledge through auditory means. So that being the case, playing on the little TV and the video shot behind me is a really awesome VHS that I'm going to give a shout out to Brainbuster Video for, which we'll put them in the description because they're freaking awesome. It is the Dead Theme Park Rides VHS. I picked this up from Zach over there at Brainbuster Video. I believe at Spookala when I went there with Tyson a month or so ago. And right now, it basically shows all the old Universal rides. It's footage that various people took, and I guess I'm assuming uploaded to YouTube or something. And right now, Psycho is playing because of the Alfred Hitchcock, which was honestly my favorite one. I had the shower curtain where it had the silhouette of Mother, and then I had the Do Not Disturb. So I used to have all of that stuff. Don't have it anymore. I'm sure I could probably dig it up on eBay and they'll want to charge like $200 for it. But now there's Anthony Perkins doing his intro. R.I.P.
When it popped up, I just saw someone taking a shower in the background.
And you knew what it was.
What are you watching? And then, okay.
Yes. So, yeah, we are here, though. We're doing Terror on the Tube, so we will be focused. This is not Retro Movie Geek. We stay focused on this show. But, yes, if you are listening to the podcast audio version only, please go over to YouTube in the description, show notes, whatever. We will have a link to the video as well. Yes, Peter's showing right now a Funko Pop of Alfred Hitchcock.
Nice.
It's important, again, to not just show things.
And the clapperboard he's holding says...
And the clapperboard.
Psycho.
Well,
how's his profile look?
Yeah, let's see the profile. It's not bad.
Pretty good.
For a Funko Pop, I mean, they all kind of look the same, so that's not bad at all.
They do.
Yeah. So I will say, though, if you are interested in seeing what the three of us look like as we record, the only one that's worth probably seeing is Allyson. Peter and I are here, and we are what we are. Sorry. But
Especially me.
Well, okay. I wasn't going to say it, but so the point is, we are here. We are doing the show. This is fun. I honestly love doing it this way because, I get to see you guys and we get to interact, which is cool.
Yeah.
So we are talking about it. I'm going to say it right now before you do the synopsis, Peter. I'm going to say this is without a doubt maybe the top 5, if not the top 3 worst movies we've covered.
Wow.
The show. All right, but just in case I'm getting ahead of myself, Peter, do you have a synopsis by chance?
Oh, yeah. Should we kind of mention what the movie is?
Yes, I was trying to avoid that, but you go ahead and do it.
Yeah. We're covering The Haunting of Seacliff Inn from 1994. And it was aired, Thursday, the 22nd of September, 1994 on the USA Network. The synopsis is, Susan and Mark moved to a seaside town to buy an old house and open an inn. They came to look at one house, but Susan is inexplicably drawn to another. The house is high on a cliff overlooking a lonely beach. This is a long one, by the way. Something eerie is going on. A scary black dog appears. One strange guest stays at the inn. Susan finds letters in the attic, written long ago. There are punctuation marks between all of this. It's really weird. Susan finds letters in the attic written long ago by a wife who was terrified of something. What happened then is happening again.
Da, da, da.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So that's the synopsis.
I get a vibe from you two.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Allyson, I'm going to give you the floor because I feel like I want you to skewer the pig before I throw it on the fire. So
wow. So this is why we steer away from movies in the 90s.
No, well, and I was because here's what's weird.
No, the haunting.
The haunting.
Yeah.
So here, my kids had a theory. By the way, 2 of my 3 kids made it through the whole thing, very begrudgingly, and then the one.
There's too much sexy time.
And well, one of them was like, I can't even, Dad, I'm out. Like after about 30, 40 minutes, he's like, I can't. This is even by your standards, Dad. This is, and so I feel like though their conclusion was we need to avoid movies with haunting in the title or haunt in the title because Haunted by Her Past was another haunt type movie.
Yeah, but we have done.
But here's the thing, or 1990s.
There's going to be more on the list. I'm going to tell you that right now.
I bet. But here's the thing. The Haunting, which is the only other 1990s movie we've done, I liked. I remember liking that. That was the
remake. Oh,
no. Oh God,
Haunted.
no.
It was the Haunted.
You're talking about on this show. Okay.
This show, yeah. Was it called The Haunted or The Haunting?
Yes.
The one that's like kind of a Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Yes,
story.
that one.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yes. Yeah,
It's
had
good.
Jeffrey DeMunn. I think Jeffrey DeMunn was in it. Yeah. So that one was good. Like I liked that one. That was like the very first one we did, right, Peter? Before it was right before Allyson.
It was the first one.
Oh, it's the very.
I've seen that a couple of times though. That's I like that one.
Yeah, it's very.
We did one with the haunts of the very rich or the extreme, whatever that was when.
That was goofy. That was goofy
Yeah.
fun. I remember that was kind of fun.
One.
Yeah, it was
But
okay.
This one, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm trying, and I'm going to get distracted by this thing behind me through the entire episode. I apologize if you're just listening and you suddenly hear nothing because we're all just watching the
We're
video.
all watching the TV screen. I'm still getting a vibe here.
Okay, so Allyson, over to you.
Well, so I'd seen this before, and when the title came up last episode, I remembered. I was like, oh yeah, I've seen this before, and I had a vague memory of it, and it was one of the few that I remember watching that I only watched once. And while we were watching it, I was like, okay, yeah, I remember why I just watched this the one time and didn't revisit this, because when it's not kind of annoying, it's very boring. Like Peter said, oh, there's all these sexy scenes. Well, I think they were intended to be. They were very boring. They were, it was like,
that's when you check your phone or the time. Okay.
I did think about Haunted by Her Past because it was like very supposed to be, I guess, appealing to women. I think this aired on Lifetime, and it's just very like sappy milquetoast love scenes between two actors who have no chemistry. So it's just I kept rooting for them to get divorced. It was like the whole movie. I really didn't like either one of them. And normally one of the main characters, the wife in the couple, is played by Sheedy, and we'll get to the cast. And normally I enjoy her in things. Yep. I hated her character in this. One of my biggest pet peeves is people who think it's okay to approach somebody to sell something, especially a home, that's not for sale. Like that makes me so mad.
Yeah,
I've had it happen to me.
My first note.
Yeah, right after we bought and moved into our home, which is our first home we've ever had, we had real estate agents coming and knocking on the door, which is why I now have 2 no soliciting signs. So, to be really thorough, they were like, oh, the market's really good. Would you like to sell your home? I'm like, well, where would I live? Like, I just made this happen. Yeah. Rent is skyrocketing. I don't want to pay that anymore. And it's just, and also I was just like, I'm not going to go with a real estate agent who just showed up on my doorstep. But she goes and she's like hardcore pursuing this very sweet older lady who lives in this gorgeous historic house on this cliffside. And she just obsesses over it. And you're just kind of like, okay, hauntings are coming. She deserves whatever she gets.
And we could get to the fact that it occurred to me that these people should be suspect numero uno for the cops.
Yeah.
Because
let me read my first 2 notes. The first one,
Peter.
Susan basically wants to throw the old lady out of the house. That was number 1. Number 2, and then she dies.
Dies violently under suspicious circumstances, and then these people buy the house like almost like the next day.
Yeah.
So,
and again, here's my third note. It is a beautiful house, though.
Oh, it was gorgeous. Like that. The best part of the movie is the house.
So also, and I think it's just because they needed something to happen in this movie. Yeah. They start renovating the heck out of it, and like they're told multiple times, like, "Oh, we're on a tight budget," and it's like, you couldn't have turned this into it. You should have just bought some extra furniture and made sure everything was running properly, but the house looked amazing when
Yeah, it
she
did.
wanted it. And then she
Yeah.
gets a hold of it and she does a bunch of stuff to it. And, you know, a la Beetlejuice, I think that old lady should have haunted her.
Yeah.
It's just
Although,
like, oh,
although
you're messing with
spoiler
my
alert,
home.
and spoiler alert, it's not even the old lady that's doing the haunting,
Nope.
right?
She couldn't
So
give
and it
two-
was even
no.
for that, yeah.
Which would
That
have
would've
been a
been
more
better.
interesting story. Yeah. If
Yeah,
she
it
was
would've
just like,
been.
you know what? I raised my kids in this house. Now this is happening.
Like there could have been a
Yuppie.
really good, subtle metaphor or idea in this movie about people like that you're saying that push to get something and then it causes something else to happen and then the sort of
Mhm.
repercussions of those actions. There could have been a great little almost morality tale of being a douchey pushy person and there wasn't. Now I want to say, like you, and we'll get into the cast and everything about this in a minute, but I like Ali Sheedy a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember watching Made to Order and even liking her. Like I've liked her.
Oh, yeah,
War
yeah,
Games,
yeah.
War Games, and obviously
Yeah.
Short Circuit, and like everything, obviously, and like Breakfast Club and all the usual stuff. So I think she is a very good actress when she's in really good material.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel like it's her fault per se that it was the way it was. It's just everything about the movie. And I've tried to consider context, right? So I'm going to be reviewing Jingal, the Beast from the East with Jay tomorrow.
Nice.
And have you seen that before,
No.
Allyson? Okay, you haven't lived. You haven't lived until you have. You've seen it, Peter?
And then you wish you didn't.
No, well, here's the thing. That movie is like objectively bad. It's objectively bad.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this, I would rate it on a different scale than something like this. Because now the version of this, Peter, did you send us a copy of this or no? Because I don't think you did you?
Which one?
This one, the Seacliff one, the one we're talking
I
about.
think I did. I think
I looked in my Dropbox. I didn't see it. So
okay.
I ended up watching it on YouTube, and the two
Mhm.
versions I saw were hot garbage.
Yeah.
They were awful. Was yours awful, Alice? It was like real pixelated.
Yeah, there was one that was really badly pixelated, and then there was one that was, I think, on the TV Terrorland channel that was slightly better but stretched. It was like
that's the one I watched. I think that's the one I watched. Yeah, it
Did
was.
it say
It was
the sci-fi up in the...
Yep.
Okay, that's the version I watched.
And in fact, I don't know. It'll have to. I don't know if you can make it out, but the other background that I made for us.
Yeah, I saw that.
That image when we move out of the way, you could see it actually says Sci-Fi Channel up in the corner.
Yeah, that's the one I think is online.
And there were ads for things coming up that I wish I was watching more. I can't remember what they were.
Oh, really? I didn't get ads. Maybe I didn't.
Oh, there was like
what?
like from the old Sci-Fi Channel thing. Like it just had at the bottom. It said,
oh, that
like,
the Frighteners.
The
Frighteners.
Yeah, that's what it was. I was like, I wish I was watching that movie.
Yes, I thought the same. About halfway through, I went, man, I wish the Frighteners was coming on.
Right?
yeah.
I'm distracted by that TV in the background. It's now the Back to the Future ride.
Which I don't think I ever was on because I get such motion sickness.
That was a good one.
I get motion sickness.
I
on
lost
stuff
my sunglasses on that ride. Expensive ones.
Yep, there's Dr.
It's a ride like this, and they went, woo!
Yeah, I can't do it. That makes me sick. That's always made me sick. Anyway, so this movie to me, it's the cardinal sin, and you've already said, Allyson, it's just so boring. That's my big gripe with Haunted by Your Past. It's just, I don't mind wacky, over the top shenanigans, and it could be ineptly made. Because the thing is, even though the quality of the version we saw wasn't good on YouTube, you could tell in certain scenes, even without all the pixelation and everything, it was really well shot. Like it was very. There was.
You know what this would have benefited from?
What?
Trimming.
Maybe like editing the movie itself or cropping. I wasn't sure what you meant.
No editing. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Oh yeah, it was at least 20 minutes too long. Like,
we see them have a kind of marital coital. What do you?
It's like twice.
Yeah, and
we don't need
funny.
That.
I watched this with teenage boys.
Yeah.
They were bored with that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You don't need it.
Not at all. We're like
in a movie like this, set it like a normal, like the normal TV, like an hour 13, 14.
Yeah.
And imply it. They're in the bed together. They turn around, they kiss. Oh, I love you. But okay, we get it. They're married.
Yeah.
Yes. They will have sex.
Yes.
Probably.
Their relationship was so boring.
It was weird.
Annoying. It was just like, why are you two together? Like you clearly.
Yeah, there's a passive aggressive quality to them. Yeah.
Well, he did have an affair, so
Well, he did.
Because his marriage
Yes,
is
he did.
boring.
He did. That was why they moved out of there, because their marriage was.
You ready
on the
for this?
dump.
I was so half paying attention.
Oh my god!
I missed that. I totally missed that.
Well, you were half paying attention several times because she mentioned it several times.
So
Did she?
it kind
Wow.
of actually weirdly, loosely reminds me of the plot for the first season of American Horror Story, because it's like similar. It's like married couple. There had been a previous affair, and then they move into a haunted house, and it tears at their relationship. But it's a much darker, much more interesting telling of that story, and kind of gut-wrenching in some ways. And this was just like, okay, is the ghost going to murder everybody? No. All right. Well, I guess I will try to not look at my phone.
Yeah. What I did is when a movie like this doesn't catch me, I end up on IMDb. Like, oh, where I recognize that person from, and then I go down the rabbit hole of all the different things that they're in that I liked much better than this movie. And so, but I think that's really the problem. It's just, it's not. There's nothing to really other than seeing Ali Sheedy in 1994. It came out the year I graduated high school.
We have Nurse Ratched here.
No, and we do have Louis Fletcher, and that was cool. We do. I mean, I am a big time dog person, so I don't like to see it happen. But if we are to listen to Dr. Walking Dead, his theory, it's a real horror movie. If they kill a kid or kill a dog, technically.
Yeah, this is the exception, though.
This is the exception.
I think if you showed this to him, he'd be like, "No, it's
no, not a horror movie." Yeah, because even how it happens, you're like, really? Like that was it.
The ghost stuff is totally underutilized too. It's just.
I thought honestly, I thought they were going to go Scooby-Doo on us at first because the tone of it, I thought it was going to be one of those like, oh, is it supernatural? Isn't it supernatural? And I will say, I give them kudos for actually just, no, it's totally a supernatural thing.
Because when the ghost arrives, you don't figure it's a ghost because she's just like normal. And naked.
It's like Charlie Sheen in The Wraith, right? Where he just shows up and you're like, is
we
that
going to do a Wraith joke?
No, I'm not throwing you under.
No, but I know what you get.
Oh, you've never seen? Okay, I'll show
I still haven't.
You'll figure that part. I'm not giving anything away really on that.
Yeah. Okay.
But it takes a little time because you're thinking, oh wait, is she a ghost? And then you see the tombstone, and then you put things together. Yeah, apparently not even the sheriff puts together in this movie.
That sheriff, which kudos to them in 1994 in the small town. I mean, I guess it was supposed to be somewhere in California, right? So it was obviously near Fort Bragg, because that I know they mentioned like 8 times. I'm going down to Fort Bragg. Why? Why are you going to Fort Bragg? Did they ever say?
That's where all the cool kids are going.
What I'm saying, was he like former military or something? I just never understood why they were always going down to Fort Bragg.
Who? The husband?
Yeah, there were several people who said that. I'm going down to Fort Bragg.
Probably that was the closest big. I don't know.
That's where the Costco is.
Is that where the Costco is? That's right by the fort. Yeah. But so I know they were in California, but so they have this female sheriff, right? Which is unusual. Usually these movies, let's face it, it's usually some old dude, who, and it wasn't that, but she was so. How can I say this nicely?
Oh boy.
she was inept. She was just like okie dokie, okily dokily. Like she was very,
Well, the first I did react after the old lady dies, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I had your statement. Yeah, okay, bye bye,
bye bye."
Toodles. Like, oh, it's an accident too. It was just like, this looks like a murder scene.
Yeah, and first of all,
like a murder
the bloodiest
scene.
part in the movie.
Yeah, first of all, why were you in the house?
Yes.
And we don't really need a second or a third, but that's the first one.
Yeah.
So,
because apparently in small towns in California, I love that Hollywood loves to perpetuate the stereotype that everyone in a small town is super paranoid of any outsiders, right? That's always the thing, that if you're an outsider, you end up in a small town, their eyes are on you. Except for apparently this small town in California, where you could go visit an old lady, be pushy about wanting her house that she's been in forever and a day. She ends up dead. You find the body.
I think the town was called Port Gullible.
Oh, is that what it was? Port Gullible? Yeah.
Oh, but that was weird. That didn't.
That was very weird.
Because So yeah,
it did work for me. Not gonna lie, kids. So any other review thoughts? Because honestly, I don't. I wish I had more to say, but it's like there's nothing really. I mean, they're in the house. It follows a very rote by the numbers plot that you've seen a million times. I mean, I told my kids as soon as we saw that the old lady died, and then the weird demon dog thing was there.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, did they ever 100% explain why there was a demon dog? I'm assuming it's connected to the husband that committed the murder.
Yeah, it probably belongs.
I think it's his dog in a photo. They show a photo.
Oh, is that okay? So I don't know why the dog is like its spirit is vengeful, but okay.
Yeah, it's weird.
And again, it was creepy factor. But I said at some point very early on, I said okay, and I assumed it was going to be the old lady. That in the end, the old lady ghost was going to save either the Sheedy character or both of them from whatever this malevolent force was. I was close. It was not the old woman. It was the doppelganger of Sheedy. Yeah.
Yep. So
also, there's a kind of a weird parallel to this and the people across the lake, where it's like you have the yuppies move out to the rural area to get away from it all, and they end up burning down the house that they love so much.
I didn't even think of that.
You know,
that's true.
Why don't you stay where you came from?
Yeah, exactly.
Just ruining historic things.
Yeah. Yuppies who decide they're going to go all rural. You know, they're going to get back to the earth. They ruin everything.
I'm not being an angry Oregonian at all. I'm being like,
not at all.
Californians.
No. Yeah. Well, I'm fairly confident I'm the only native Floridian that's left within 100 miles of me.
Really? Okay.
Everybody's a transplant where I live. And so, I don't know, man. I would like to I'm trying to like search my mind for like things I like. There were, I think, a few music cues I liked.
I like the attic.
I like the attic. So I was getting visually, again, the quality that I saw wasn't great. Yeah. No. But you could tell they get on a better quality copy. Yeah. That those attic scenes, both early on and then when she's up there going through the trunk or whatever, they were really well shot. Like it was very atmospheric. It was that early 90s vibe, and I like that aesthetically. So that was cool.
Finding an attic like that, I would probably not come down from there for a couple of days, because there's a lot of cool stuff.
Well, you and me are a little different, because I agree it'd be interesting to go through. I don't think I'd be going up there by myself.
Yeah, it's a little creepy.
Well,
yeah, wow. I've seen too many of these movies. Sorry.
Yeah, well, there is that.
So I guess you could say visually, especially if you could get your hands on a good copy, it's nice to look at. So, they had good cinematography. I think the writing is the big issue. Writing. I mean, because it's not even a bad cast. I mean, Louise Fletcher is a very talented actress,
and I like like Sheedy and William R. Moses too, who plays the husband.
I say we jump right into it. Let's get right into this. I think by the way, I think somebody last time, I think it was maybe Retro Movie Geek, I guess, because Amazon will throw up their ads. It apparently had toilet paper.
Okay.
I don't know. I was like, okay, I wasn't looking for toilet paper on Amazon, but there you go. I wasn't looking for whatever the show is either, but there it is. So basically let's get it. So let's talk about the writer. So we got the director was listed as a writer along with Tom Walla Washington.
Walla, yeah.
I'm trying to see what else they have done. Veronica's Closet. Open House. I watched that with my dad. Do you remember that sitcom, Open House?
Oh, it's not. I thought it was the horror movie with Adrienne Barbeau, and I got excited. It's
not. It's the one with oh gosh.
I think it has
Chris. Yeah, there was one with Adrienne Barbeau called that. It's got Jack Lemmon's son in it, I believe. Chris Lemmon. Yeah. Ellen DeGeneres was one of her first things.
Less than 10 seconds to us to fall into a rabbit hole.
I know, but come on. This is more interesting than talking about the movie we were talking about. Wow. So Tom Waller wrote for looks like his previous writing.
So did Walter Kleinhardt.
It was mostly sitcoms that this guy wrote for. Oh, just the 10 of Us he wrote for. I like that show. I remember that. I'm a dork. Give me a break.
So not anything horror or spooky.
No, it's weird. It's almost like everything. Yeah. Every other thing he did, Martin, Malcolm and Eddie, Veronica's Closet, Sabrina, all of this stuff is sitcom-y. This is like the only quote-unquote serious thing.
Did a little. I think he did some spooky stuff, I think.
Did he? Let's find out.
He didn't really direct
something called Disappearance.
Yeah. I think that's a Rush of Fear. But I think he did Well, Kojak, yeah, but there's something called Garage Sale Mysteries that I wrote down. What?
Buried Alive 2, which, if memory serves, this is a Buried Alive, a Frank Darabont film. Yeah, and Tim Matheson was in the first one, and he directed this one.
Okay.
I remember seeing that like it. And actually, yeah, Ali Sheedy was in this as well. Yeah. So he wrote, the guy who wrote the Haunting of Seacliff
I'm pointing at the screen.
Inn.
You can't see that. The first Buried Alive is somewhere. Yeah, well...
Do I need to slow down? I realize I'm jumping all over the place here.
No, but there's some there. You can see all. You don't have all of it there.
Oh, see all? Let's see. Let me go down to see all. Yeah, there it is. Haunting of Seacliff. The Last Hit. Dead in the Water. Yeah, none of this. I mean, I've heard of some of these things.
Beale Striker. That was a good one. I like Beale Striker, but no, not really a lot of, I don't know, horror or mystery thingy.
Yeah. Buried Alive 2 is definitely, he was actually an actor in 11 different things. So Alfred Hitchcock Presents and Simon & Simon. So, he's been around.
Simon & Simon.
Yeah, yes. Buddy.
I love Simon.
All right. So, seen that in ages.
Yeah. Yeah. Ali Sheedy was in an independent film back in the 90s or early 2000s. I can't remember what it was called. Give me High Art. That's it. Boom. 1998. I remember that, and I remember that being a pretty strong performance. I remember she had kind of disappeared for a while, and it's a young female intern at a small magazine company and a drug-addicted lesbian photographer slowly fall in love while exploring each other to advance their respective careers. And I believe Ali Sheedy is the photographer, the drug-addicted photographer. So I remember that was remember that. Yeah, and I remember when it came out, it was a big deal because she hadn't really done much in a while, and then that was like a really kind of edgy, quote unquote, performance for her. No one was. Everybody always thought of her as being
been a lot of cool. So Fear, you remember Fear? That's another TV movie actually. From I don't know where.
Yes, I think of Fear.com.
No. Fear. You have to go.
I just think of the Mark Wahlberg movie.
Or that one, yeah. There's a lot of movies named Fear. It's a very
I know.
Do you remember what year it was, Peter?
90 something. I'm not sure.
Oh, yes, right. Buried Alive 2. We already said that.
Yes.
I'm not seeing it. Oh, there's a Haunting of Seacliff Inn.
I think you have to go earlier, probably.
Oh, Man's Best Friend. I forgot. I like Man's Best Friend. I don't care who knows it.
Never seen it.
What Fear was.
Ali Sheedy was in a Red Shoe Diaries. Naughty.
Nice. Hopefully it was better than the love scenes in this movie.
More than likely.
Only the Lonely. That's a good one.
Oh, I remember John Candy. Yeah, I remember seeing that in the theater. Yeah.
There's Fear.
There it is. Yeah. Oh, is this? That's right. This was a TV movie. I remember seeing the little thing on Amazon about this. Oh, interesting.
I think I had that on DVD somewhere.
That's a TV movie?
Yeah. 1990. I don't know if it is or not. Lauren Hutton's in it. Stan Shaw. This is a good cast. Oh, Pruitt Taylor Vince. This is a really, really good cast. John Agar. Holy crap. Okay. Haunting of Seacliff Inn.
Yes.
There you go back.
Ali Sheedy has been in a lot of cool stuff. We mentioned War Games, Breakfast Club, St. Elmo's Fire is a good one. Blue City with son of a gun. What if the one Emilio Estevez?
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Is Tom Berenger in that, or am I making that up in my head?
That's another one. I think that's
okay.
Isn't that Fear City?
Maybe that's Fear City. Yeah. I knew he was in a movie.
Blue City is like a returning a kid to a town, and he's driving a motorcycle, and there's been the troubled youth and all that, and then there's a murder case and blah blah and everything. I think it's fairly hard to find nowadays. I have the soundtrack on vinyl though. Which
I would say the only other person in this movie that I knew was Louise Fletcher.
Not Tom McCleister or William R. Moses?
Not really.
William R. He was in, I remember him mostly from Falcon Crest, but he was in the Perry Mason.
That would be why I don't know who he is, Peter.
Perry Mason? He was in the Perry Mason.
The original Perry Mason? Was he a kid?
No, I think the newer ones. He played.
I didn't watch the newer ones. I watched the original.
Hang on. He played associate with him.
So. Yeah, I didn't watch the 80s Perry or 90s Perry Mason. I watched the old school black and white Perry Mason when it was on, WTOG 44 the afternoons on
a movie I like.
I feel like I recognize the woman who played Lorraine, Maxine Stuart.
Yeah, Maxine. Yeah. Yep.
but I don't know exactly from what per se.
Prisoner of Second Avenue, like Father Like
I've seen that, but that Private Benjamin,
Yeah.
Goldie
Oh,
Hawn.
She's been in
yeah.
a ton of
128 credits. So she was
She
definitely in a
did look
lot.
a little
lot of TV.
familiar, yeah.
And
Yeah, a
Outer
lot of
Limits.
TV.
She's on episodes of Outer Limits and
Yep. Murphy Brown. So I'm
stuff.
sure I saw her on TV and whatnot.
Trapper John. Okay. Yeah, I mean she's recognizable because she's been around.
And then of course we said Louise Fletcher. What else do I know? Was she in the Flowers in the Attic one with Buffy? Christy Swanson.
I think.
Oh,
Yep.
I
Yeah,
never
she was.
watched that, but I read the book and I was
Think
like, I
so.
don't know if I want to see this as a movie.
Yeah, that's the one with Christy Swanson. Yeah, I remember.
Story.
Yeah, there. Yep. She was in that. She was the grandmother.
And she's in Blue Steel. Remember that one?
Oh yeah. Yep. She's been in a ton of-
Strange Invaders is a cool.
It's funny. I only ever, even though I didn't see One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest until like for the first time till like 2 years ago.
I know.
Really?
I only ever think of her when I think of her.
Nurse Ratched.
I think of Nurse Ratched, even though I
Yes.
hadn't even seen the movie. Yet she's been in a ton of stuff I've seen
Yeah, I
and
know.
liked. So,
Yeah.
She's in this TV movie that I think Peter added to the list for me called Nightmare on the 13th
Oh,
Floor.
13th Floor.
It's on the list. Yep.
So I think we'll see her at least in one more TV movie, but
Very good.
probably
I like her.
more.
And I'll say she's one of those. It often happens in movies like this where not a lot's happening. I was gonna say she's only in a few scenes, but she stands out,
Mm-hmm.
thus showing that she is. Her talent greatly exceeds the material, which also happened.
Really use her in this.
No, she was definitely wasted.
Like,
But
why is she here?
yeah, other than so that at the end she can like have the dog just suddenly show up in her car and then go down a ravine. Which, by the way, that's the other thing is the movie plays it so safe. They're willing to kill the one cute dog via gassing, but then she goes down the side of a mountain or whatever the heck she is, and she lives. And it's like there's no real consequence. I feel like nobody's ever really in danger other than the dog, apparently.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well.
what are you gonna do?
I mentioned
Yeah.
Tom McCleister, who plays John, the guy who gets electrocuted. I've seen him in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Right, he survives that as well.
Yeah, so I'm saying nobody really dies. Yeah, it's very. He's
been in a lot of
that
stuff,
guy.
You
too.
know,
that guy.
I think the other reason why I think this particular movie bothered me is that growing up kind of near the coast, there's all these local legends at like multiple stories about some of the lighthouses along the Oregon coast have really cool stories about hauntings, and whether you believe in that sort of thing or not, it makes for a really good story. And they have this coastal cliffside house with a widow's walk and everything. And I just think you couldn't have come up with something better. You could have dug through some local lore and come up with something to borrow from at least, because it's just not scary. It's not creepy.
Yeah,
Nobody
it's very by the
cares.
numbers, right? It's just by the number. And it's not even, here's the thing. I feel like this isn't one of those where you revisit it, and because we've seen so much since then, we're being critical. This was by the numbers by 1994. I mean, that was, this was very basic by then. I mean, like I go back to Black Christmas, and I promise I'm not going to go on and on about Black Christmas 1974, the only one that matters. Although I've warmed up to the 2006 version a bit.
No.
The other one, I dare not speak its name. But
there's only one movie with that.
The only one that really matters to me. But here's the thing.
No. There's only one movie with that name. I don't understand the other talk.
Okay, fair enough. I feel like there's an example, though. If you revisit that movie, you've never seen it, but you've seen a ton of horror, a ton of slashers. You could say, wow, this feels so like I've seen all this a million times. Yes, but you got to consider the context. That was a lot of firsts or very close to firsts in that movie. And it's sort of like the beginnings of the rumblings. I mean, there have been other movies prior to it that had done a lot of things like that, but it's like all those things together of what we think now are these tropes in slasher movies. But in 1974, they weren't. This movie in 1994, these kind of romantic ghost stories have been done a gajillion times. So they could have, to your point, they could have done it. They could have taken like an urban legend from further up the coast, applied it to their little town, modified, tweaked it a little bit here and there, and it would have been a substantially more interesting story than what
shortened it down. There's a lot of stuff you could shorten down in this movie that we don't really.
Well, they were
need.
but this is when this is that time. I've definitely noticed this when we cover movies from this. I mean, I know we've done a few from the late 60s, but most of the 70s and even into the early 80s, they were willing to have and it definitely started in the 80s with this. I think they were willing to have a movie be like with commercials, like an hour and a half back then. But by the time you get into the late 80s and into the early 90s, every movie's got to be an hour and a half long for 30 minutes worth of commercials.
Exactly.
So it's 2-hour block. So they always do this extra padding and it's just boring.
Well, I also kind of think that because I think the focus was to have kind of a romantic / marital drama where the scariest
Tension.
thing that's being presented to us in the movie is the husband going to cheat again? And, I was like, well, at least something would happen. I mean, it's not a good situation, but like, come on, like, this is just so boring. And then also, when we were talking about Haunted by Your Past, and I can't believe that now I'm the one that's harping on that. It was a similar vein. It was like, this is a soap opera, and these two are so passionately in love. They weren't. Will their relationship survive? And there's no chemistry, and who cares? And everyone just has, big hair and fun outfits, and that's really all you can say about that movie. But it's just this was not meant to be spooky or suspenseful. Like, after just watching Night of Terror, was that the title of the
Night Terror?
Terror, because I was like, we've had a couple that are night and terror. Anyway, so Night Terror with Valerie Harper was so well crafted in its pacing and suspense, and the stakes were real, and she was amazing in it, and it flew by. I mean, it was shorter, but it also flew by.
Yes.
This was just like, you're looking at your watch and you're like, they're like having pillow talk.
Yeah.
You ready for this? I started this movie. We paused it to eat dinner. So after about we paused it 45 minutes in to watch a couple episodes of The Office because we've been rewatching that with our kids.
Okay.
And then we watched another 45 minutes, stopped it again to have dinner, and then finished the last 10 minutes. That's the only way I could get through this movie, was to break it up into 3 different chunks.
Wow. Okay.
I'm just saying. Did it all at once, and
you're a trooper. You're a real trooper.
I sat there with my dinner night before last, and I watched it, and then I just think, I have to get up to go get something. Should I pause it? Nah.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say. I was like, life is really too short to waste my time watching garbage like this twice. I'm gonna tell Joel next time. No, I'm not doing it.
I honestly, I've been so busy the past like 6-7 weeks now that I'm now, my schedule is opened up and I'm trying to practice doing nothing. So I guess this helps.
Yeah. So Peter, I feel like you've been the least critical on this one.
And I'm not saying any of you are wrong because
we're not. We're right.
No, I kind of didn't hate this movie, and there are pieces of it out, but it's by the numbers, and there are a couple of times I kind of switched on. Okay, how long have how many minutes have I watched this? And I thought, oh God, I'm not more than halfway through it. Okay, wait, and they're in bed again. Okay, I see. Okay, nothing happens, and then there is one twist though when they're making love, as he says, where the ghost kind of sneaks in and takes the appearance of where he sees her appearance on top of Sheedy's, basically. That's when he fakes an anxiety attack. But other than that, it's like Joel. Wait, what? I don't remember that.
No, I remember that part.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, but I get it, but I kind of still didn't hate on this movie. It was a bit long, but I don't know. I kind of liked some of the actors in it, and it's I'm kind of, and I'm doing kind of like it's back and forth. I'm not sure where to land on this one. To be
okay,
I don't hate it. I don't dislike it, but I don't love it either.
Yeah,
so there's some things that are good and some things are not so good in it.
Okay, well, we'll agree to disagree on that point because I feel like there's just more that's not good. I try to find good stuff. I try to always
it down. Yeah,
it definitely was way too long, but it was going to be. It had to be because they had to put their
90s.
2 hour. It's the 90s is a 2-hour time slot. There's no way they wouldn't do it.
Nope.
So Allyson, then I assume you like me or someone in the please never again for the love of God Let me sit through this.
Yeah, I've now watched it twice. I think that's plenty.
Wow. That is plenty. That is plenty for sure.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure. And again, when we started this, I was like, I had a sneaking suspicion that I've had seen it before, but I'm not really sure still if I've seen snippet because it's Ali Sheedy. So we did watch a lot of Ali Sheedy movies back in the day.
I like Ali Sheedy.
Yeah.
And I feel like that would be a reason enough to recommend somebody seeing this. If you were a fan of Ali Sheedy, that you want to be a completist and you want to see everything she was in.
You see all the Ali Sheedy movies.
Yeah.
I see her entire filmography. Then you would
even
see this.
Even the shitty Sheedy movies.
Yes, sure, we'll go with that. And I think that I if it had been a better quality one, if I had seen it, I could actually think there might be even a Blu-ray of this. I could be wrong, but when I was looking for images, I got a VHS image in the background here. But I think
I found a Laserdisc image.
Was it really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think there may have been even and I know there was a DVD. I'm pretty sure it's either on DVD and or Blu-ray. It may be Blu-ray.
I would if I find it, I would.
If it was in a dollar bin, I would buy it
because I want all of our talented.
That would be one reason. Yes, I'd be just to have the whole thing. But also, I would, and then I'd fast forward through it because there'd be certain scenes I'd want to see how they looked, visual, just the cinematography. Because I feel like had I seen a better quality version, that would be my number one takeaway positive for this movie was the cinematography. But again, the quality that we saw was so subpar.
Yeah, because the scenery is.
It was very pretty. It was very beautiful area.
And buy the soundtrack if you can find it because the music was good.
Music was pretty good. I mean, there was things about it.
Yeah.
But it's almost like it was such a boring, and it's boring. Like to me, that's a cardinal sin, man. A movie can have so many technical and other problems.
I actually thought they were going to be right at the last end because the house burns down and they talk about having no money, but I'm sure they had insurance or something.
I was about to say, would they have had insurance on that place?
But then they find that kind of that bird thing that apparently killed the wife, and I thought, and it was all black with soot and all that. And I thought, okay, maybe that's made of gold.
And that's what it's going to be.
I was waiting for them to kind of scrape it off. So, okay, and then he just throws it in the ocean. I'm thinking, what are you? What?
To prove how not paying attention to this movie I was, and how I just like zoned out I was, when that scene happened at the very end, they burned their house down. They're talking about how they have no more money. He kind of makes a joke about it, like of course, because God knows after you've lost everything, you'd totally be making jokes like that. And I mean, I probably would because I'm dark, but in a movie like this, it just didn't ring true. But he lifts up the back of the car, and I was thinking in my head, like, wait a minute. If the way they reacted, they saw this thing, and we don't see it at first. I was like, wait, did they allude to there being treasure in this house or something that was lost? I was trying to remember. I was like, was there ever money? And like, it's just suddenly going to be in their car, like it was a gift from the ghosts. So. And then I saw the little bird thing. I was like, oh, okay, never mind. Although I will give the guy credit. The one smart thing he did in the whole movie is he saw that sucker. He didn't hesitate. He just chucks it right in the ocean. I'm like, I'm out.
And again, these, they're not bad off. I mean, he's a photographer and apparently a good one. So
who doesn't do nudes? That was pretty great.
I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, exactly. Well, especially I missed the whole thing about him being formerly a cheater. And what cracks me up is it's like good communication 101. Whether you've cheated on your significant other or not, you do not have a beautiful young woman disrobe come on to you and then, forget to mention it. Yeah. Like that's a problem. Like that's not a good, because eventually if it comes out, then it looks like you were hiding something.
Also, maybe that's the time in which you ask that person to leave. Like,
hey, where did Sarah go? I kicked her out. Why? Because she dropped her robe and came on to me. And I figured, based on our history, you wouldn't appreciate that too much. Oh, good point.
To his credit, he looked like she tries to get him to go on a walk later after doing all of that, and he looks kind of frightened. And I just felt like no matter how physically attractive someone is, if it's an unwanted sexual advance, it can be very creepy. And he said no. He said no multiple times, and then she's still trying to make it happen, and he looked genuinely uncomfortable. And it's like, okay, you know what? This, you can refuse service. Also, she paid. Like, she's a ghost. Where's her money?
Yeah, exactly. I
mean, it starts off kind of like an innocent flirt thing, but then she gets more and more pushy, and then all of a sudden she disrobes, and it's an uncomfortable situation. and he should have mentioned it to his wife.
Yes.
So
That would have been advisable. Yeah.
Yeah, White and the photos shouldn't really have. Well, he could have taken all the nudes he wanted of her because she was a ghost. She probably wouldn't show up, or probably those photos were
True.
of all the photos he'd ever taken.
Yes.
Those were the ones that would show up, and he said, "Oh well, the one. No, I probably will. Oh, look at those." So
yeah.
But it was a weird situation, and so then she just disappears. Like apparently she did in real life when she apparently killed herself, throwing herself in the ocean. But her story kind of never. She's just there, and then poof.
Yeah,
it's stupid because the ghosts that you're interacting with, we barely see. We don't learn that much about until the very end. It kind of feels almost exposition dumpy, and we'd have this sultry ghost for the majority of the time, and then that doesn't go anywhere.
I was kind of hoping for them to kind of pass like her tombstone or something. Like, hey, wait a minute.
They did, didn't they? At some point.
Photo? Well, the camera passes it, but I don't think.
Yeah, but they never put two and two together. Yeah.
No, and then she talks to the sheriff, and she said, "Well, there was a Sarah Warner here, but that was 100 years ago."
I love that they knew about that was, but that was like 100 years ago because people in the town today would have gone, "Oh yeah, Sarah, like from 100 years ago."
Remember?
Come on, who doesn't remember her?
She no photos of her. No photos of her at all. So,
none.
So it again, like Allyson alluded to, a little tweak of the story, maybe. And
a little tweak. Like a full rewrite.
We should renovate the story like they renovated the house.
Yes, exactly.
Completely.
Completely, yes. It definitely could have used some.
I kind of didn't hate on this story, but
okay. Well, that's why we love you, Peter, because
it has problems, and I acknowledge because about half. Okay, I saw that face. People didn't, but Joel was very, very snarky there.
By the way, the best part is when for all the years we've done this together,
we can't hide anything.
But because I would make these faces whether camera was on, I'd be like, okay.
But this is not by a long shot one of the better movies we've done.
So, dude, this is
again compared.
This is not haunted by her past. I did tell my kids, I said, this is not haunted by her past. That is still my top tier. Hey, I just can't stand it movie. This is. I'm trying to think of one I disliked more though.
No, I was going to compare it because not a lot happens in this movie.
Yes,
we can all agree on that.
Correct.
Not much happens, and you can have a movie with not a lot of stuff happen. Because we watched with what was that called now? With the plane, the ghosts around the plane.
Was it the one where they're stuck on the island?
No, in the desert. But
that was interesting. That was that
was what I was getting. Not a lot happened in that movie either. But it was interesting what happened, and this. Do
you remember what that one was called, Allyson? What was that called? It was the one with the World War II pilots.
Survivor.
Yes,
Soul Survivor.
That was it.
Exactly.
Yep, that was it.
I think the thing there is that it's really well written, like a play, and you have really good, thoughtful dialogue and exchanges, and the content of what is being discussed, and it has depth to it. And
there's themes they were exploring through the writing. Yeah,
I think. Because I definitely been entertained by some Lifetime movies. I don't think this is necessarily a Lifetime original, but I feel like it probably aired on Lifetime. It might have been. I didn't do any research for this one, but I get annoyed when they make content that's like supposed to be targeted towards women, and it's like, oh, here's a spooky romance for women, and then the dialogue is so dumb. It's just like, that's
the funny part. Is like if they just wait for it, Allyson, they just made a really good a ghost story with a romantic core to it. It could have appealed to, I don't know, anybody, right?
Yeah.
That's sort of like, I'm going after a demographic. How about you just write a good story? A good story is universal. Like last time I checked, a great story is loved by men, women, children. Everybody loves a great story, and there's no reason why. Like I think of Lady in White. Lady in White is has a romantic quality to it, right? There's though that's not a heavy element to it, but it's got that, and it could have easily been like this movie. It could have easily been this overwrought, just boring.
Lady in White is actually scary, and you care about.
That's what I'm saying, though. They made but they did make the movie and the following. They never said the following. Well, they never said, let's make this one for kids. No,
Oh,
or let's make
no.
this one for women. No, how
know
about you
what?
make a great movie?
I'm kind of talking myself into not liking this movie
Oh,
as
no.
much as I
Yeah,
would have
screw
preferred.
this movie. Screw it, Peter. Screw this movie.
Not, I
Right.
wouldn't go that far, but no, I'm actually now thinking of it like, okay, you know what? There's that one, and then you have to go. No,
Yeah.
comparing it to other movies.
I
Yeah.
guess for me, I just also when something's meant to be romantic and like there's like 2 sex scenes or whatever lovemaking scenes, and it's supposed to show this
They're too
connection
long,
and intimacy, and it
boring.
just doesn't seem intimate at all. And it also seems like I think it just like was this written by a guy that thinks that women are not actually interested in sex, and so this is what we're giving
Probably.
the
I feel like
Lifetime
that's a good
audience.
possibility.
It's like,
And then how about this? Is just this would immediately I made it a little bit more interesting to me. As you've said, they didn't apparently establish the affair well enough because I missed it. But let's go with that. Let's say it was better established at the beginning. What if, wait for it, he comes on to her and she's distant because she's got like major trust issues with him now, understandably, and therefore there isn't that like that's a void in their relationship. And he's trying to be patient, but and then he gets a little pushy, but I mean, obviously we would understand it from her point of view why she would be like, "Hey, I ain't ready for that, Chief. You made your choice." But then when this other woman, quote unquote, woman shows up, right? It's a bit of it's a major cliche trope, but it feels a little bit more dramatic. And as opposed to forcing these scenes where there's it's almost like as a filmmaker, like as a director, when you were watching it, because hopefully you would cast better so that you have Ali Sheedy with an actor that she has chemistry with, right? Mm-hmm. Like they should have cast Judd Nelson or something. So she actually had
good chemistry with Andrew McCarthy in St. Elmo's Fire.
There you go. Yeah. So somebody like that, if they had been
Judd
the husband.
Nelson was the one in Blue City. Sorry, I thought it
was Judd Nelson. I was thinking Breakfast Club. That's why I thought Judd Nelson. But I know he was with Molly Ringwald. Before anybody leaves a comment, no, Joel, he ends up. I know that. I'm just saying somebody from like that Brat Pack era that I think Emilio Estevez in. Fine, because she ends up with him. So somebody who she could have had a little bit more chemistry with, but without that,
there are some scenes I kind of thought it worked. I can't pinpoint what scenes, but it was not the lovemaking
like
scenes.
when he comes like when he comes in and goes, "I'm impressed." Why? Because you didn't get the paint, or you got most of the paint on the wall. I mean, what?
Yeah, the conversations were just like
that was weird.
What? Like, where?
Yeah, you're impressed that she's doing all the work, you jerk, because you're just standing there. Like my wife, she would always be she like with all her kids' room stuff. She painted them. She wanted to. I didn't really want to. The last thing I would have done is walked in and gone, "Oh, well, good to see you. You did a good job. They got all the wall, or you missed the spot."
There's a lot of passive aggressiveness in that.
I think
it was Judd Nelson in Blue City.
Thank you for correcting that, Peter. We would have been mad.
If you're going to go in on a venture where you're going to work with your spouse, some of us have worked with our spouses on various projects. Joel knows about this. You better be friends with that person.
It helps.
You better like their company.
That's
and
it.
enjoy
They are
them.
not
and
friends.
they are not friends.
No, you're right. 100% agree with that. They don't come across as friends.
You're going to spend 24 hours a day with this person and give up your career. Like that's what you're going to do.
How about this? Wait for this.
Someone's going over that cliff.
By the way, I love playing Monday morning quarterback with these movies as if like I had the opportunity. Like now that the movie's done and like 30 years old, let me pick it apart and tell you how it could have been better. What if you had made a situation where they weren't like he hadn't cheated on her from the outset? They just decided they wanted to get away. The usual trope of the yuppies want to get out of the city, and they actually are like they're close, or maybe they felt like they were pulling. You don't have to have an affair. Like people could start to draw apart, and maybe they said, we've always were so close. We used to be such great friends. We want to do this as a thing together to improve our marriage. Like it could have just been that dynamic. And I don't know. There's just so many things wrong with this movie for me. And the word,
I think it kind of touches on it, but it kind of just flies over it.
Yeah, that's it. It doesn't give us any. It's very shallow. It's very shallow.
Yeah, they mentioned they're both working too much and never see each other, and they kind of do this kind of to work on their marriage and stay together and the affair and everything. But if he'd had an affair, wouldn't she come on a little harder on the quote unquote the ghost and her husband. See,
Yeah.
he walks
Like when you're,
in-
well, hold on, wait. Would you be like when your husband goes, "I'll go up and fix whatever's wrong, the window in the room
when
she's
she-
staying, and while she's taking a bath."
Yeah.
Who
It's-
first off, you knock.
Yeah.
I'm in the bath, or even if she doesn't say that, you walk in, you, oh, whoops, sorry, and you leave.
And
Period.
you leave.
Full
Yes.
stop. You leave.
And you tell your wife, you know what?
I went up there.
haven't fixed
She was
the
in the
minute,
bath. That's a little weird. Am I right?
Yeah.
Like I'm the kind of person, first of all, I would never cheat. But secondly, I'm the kind of person that'd be so guilty about everything. I would just be like, I'm everything. Like, hey, what's up with this? I would tell her, and she'd be like, I don't know.
So, honey, she's standing in front of me. She's naked.
I would yell.
Yeah.
Or like, just say, hey, you know what? Maybe we should ask our guest to leave because she's being weird to me.
A little weird. Yeah. A little weird.
Making me uncomfortable. She's crossing boundaries. See, for me, it's just like, this person's under your roof and they're line stepping constantly.
Yeah.
He was
They don't need to be
outside.
there.
No, I mean, it was uncomfortable because she came on so strong. And I don't know, apparently that's what she did in the original couple, apparently, because we haven't even touched upon that, because they never really explained that to again. Fuck, damn it! I'm.
It's weird. Here's what's weird. You know what
I'm
it is?
going to change my notes. I don't like this one.
The plot. Here's what's weird. The plot is overly convoluted yet simplistic. That's what's weird about it. It's like it's overly complicated where you're having to overthink stuff, but yet when you really finally figure it out, you're like, it's so simplistic and it's so shallow that you're like,
with this long runtime, you have time to explain it properly.
Yeah, and it's all plot driven.
Yeah.
It's not character driven. If it had been character driven, which I know is asking a lot from a made for TV movie from 1994. I get that. But I feel like if it had been character driven, then it would have played differently. You could have still had these certain like ghostly elements, but it just would have been more interesting than what we got. So I feel like we have beaten this dead horse.
The scenes are too long.
oblivion.
Like when he walks down to the beach and throws the stick around where he meets her the first time.
Yeah.
That awkward, weird conversation. And
yeah, it is weird.
It's like you could have done that scene very quickly. Like with her just, who are you? And why are you walking around here? Oh, you have a room? Okay, I'll check it out. And boom, that's it. Mm-hmm. Nothing else. You see him throw that stick 5,000 times. Yeah. We get it. The dog returns it. Okay.
What it is, Peter, what it is they go, okay, we were like 6 minutes shy of our 2-hour run time for the fill-in with
it's what I call the Baywatch effect. When you don't have anything to do in a Baywatch episode, have them run on the beach.
Slow motion. Yeah.
Which is really effective when you have a Baywatch episode starting with that. You know the story is like, ooh. Okay.
What about Baywatch Nights? I think I watched like one episode of that. That was that made Baywatch. Baywatch was high art compared to Baywatch Nights, if memory serves.
I actually have a couple of episodes, a couple of seasons on my shelf.
Baywatch Nights?
No, Baywatch.
Oh, if you had a Baywatch Nights, I would
no.
I would have swum to Sweden to kiss you.
All
right, how about this? No. How about this? We have beaten this poor dead horse into like dog food and glue. Let's move to our next movie pick.
Who picked this one?
Did I pick the last one?
I don't know.
I need to start keeping. I don't really give a crap. I always forget. But
me too.
I think hold on. Night Terror was, I believe, picked by. Yes, it was, because that was you, Allyson, and then I picked number 5, which was The Haunting of Seacliff Inn. Yeah, so it is your turn to pick.
Okay, what are
11 and 5 were gone, right?
Yes, 11 and 5 are gone. So Allyson, it is your call.
Let's try 2.
2?
Now we can see it.
We're going back to the 70s.
Good.
And
okay.
I think Allyson has mentioned this. I'm not sure. It's 1973. It's the Norliss tapes.
Oh yeah, I have mentioned it.
There you go.
How do you spell that? Norliss?
Correct. Norliss. Liss. Yes.
Okay. 1970. What? 3?
3. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I think
I've heard of that title, but I can't place it.
And I put the list together. This is so long ago. I was like, okay, wait, what? I think I know the lead actor. I think.
Okay.
But that's all about it. Okay.
All right. So if you're listening or watching, the Norliss tapes will be our next one we cover. So I'm sure it's on YouTube. That's how we found all these to begin with, right, Peter? They're all on YouTube?
Not all of them. We will get to some that.
Pretty sure this one is.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
So hopefully, then people can find it and they can. I'm going to close that out, and they could join us for that episode. But I will say a little housekeeping for a final thought. Oh, you gonna say something, Allyson? Good.
Yes, I am pretty sure that there is a horror hosted version of the Norless tapes on YouTube. Actually,
Okay.
I think.
Is it?
Okay. I'm going off the top of my fuzzy memory. But there is this there's this horror host program called Newcastle After Dark.
Okay.
And I think they may have covered it.
Okay.
Creature Features might have also, because sometimes there's overlap.
Okay.
But,
I like.
I want to say it's Newcastle After Dark. So
I don't think I've ever watched Newcastle, but I love Creature Features. So.
It's more subtle. There's a lot less advertising. I really like Creature Features, but it's much more subtle. It's these two guys kind of like in a basement smoking cigars and drinking, and they call themselves the management, and then they just kind of. It's like if the guys from The Sopranos were reviewing.
We're horror
genre
hosts.
movies. It's fun. I like it.
Did you ever watch something called Offbeat Cinema?
That sounds familiar.
And they were like these they did it like it came out, I would say it's been like the mid 2000s somewhere.
Okay.
And I can't remember it wasn't the Sci-Fi Channel, but it was something like that. It would be on at like 2 a.m. I used to record it on I had like a DVD recorder and us a DVR, and I would like say I may even have some of them somewhere where they basically were like beatniks. And they were like 1950s style beatniks. And so it was like, snapping and the cool daddy-o vibes. And but they did horror hosts. They were like all B movies and cult films. And I loved it. It was fantastic. So if you've ever seen Offbeat Cinema, that was a lot of fun too.
Rings a bell.
Cool.
Yeah. So anyway, any then I guess final thoughts about this stuff. We also should say that not only do we have the Norless tapes will hopefully be out in September, but we are going to do an October Tear on the Tube episode. Do you want to let the cat out of the bag now, Peter, or do you want to wait till
why?
Okay.
No, it's a special. It's a special one that will.
All right, next episode we will announce what that will be. How's that?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Because that gives away that will give away the theme of all of Spooky Flicks Fest, which we don't want to do yet. And then the final thing.
Here's a flashy pen. Click. You forgot all of it.
Yes.
It doesn't work if they're not watching the video, Peter.
That's true. Good. Yeah. You didn't think that one through, did you, Peter? So also, we will be doing a bonus Terror on the Tube episode immediately following this recording. So if you're just listening to this will not be on the audio version. This will only be a video version, assuming how it turns out. I cannot. So we have trivia that Allison's presenting based on slashers. She's basically experimenting. She's testing her questions on these two schlubs. Wait.
So if we make fools of ourselves,
I point that this guy and this guy, and so we're gonna do a short bonus trivia that I will, if it turns out halfway decent and we don't completely humiliate ourselves. Although actually, I take it back. If we humiliate ourselves, it'll be even funnier. So I definitely will put that out. Either way. It's probably going out. So definitely check out Mom and Pop Video Shop for that. Allyson, you want to tell everybody where they can find you in the meantime?
So should I bring out this?
No, that's cheating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it's a good book though.
You're not allowed to use reference material during trivia.
No.
So, if you want to hear me other than here, you can check out old episodes of The Haunted Davenport, which is a podcast I did with my family, which is on kind of an extended hiatus, not gone for good, but we're taking a break. You can find that over at thehaunteddavenport.com. We're also on Apple Podcasts as well. If you're into Halloween stuff, we have a Instagram account for our home haunt and our Halloween decor and shenanigans related to that. And that's Clark Memorial Gardens on Instagram. And we actually just did a Halloween convention in Portland last weekend, and it was a big, big blast. It was so fun. We had, there were mini haunts and there were makeup demos and all kinds of live performances. And they had a Pepper's Ghost Illusion where you could do photos. And we brought out our haunted photo wall, which looks like a haunted room, and it was a huge hit. People really seemed to love it, and it was fun to hang out in it. So we don't keep it up all year. I kind of wish we did, but if you want to see photos of that or see Halloween stuff because you're getting in the spirit, check that out.
You should.
Very cool. You should.
Will there be a Halloween episode of The Haunted Davenport?
I don't know. We've talked about it. I can tell you there will be Halloween music. I have.
That's and Allyson, there will be potentially a Spooky Flicks Fest.
Yes.
Haunted Davenport crossover episode.
Honestly, if we bust out our soundboard and try to get our mics and everything ready for that, we may as well do a mini episode or something. But every year I release a playlist that's a mix of either like trailers or Halloween sound effects records mixed with Halloween songs, and we have 4 hours posted on the haunteddavenport.com so far, and hour 5 is very close to being done. So we will at least have music released for Halloween, if nothing else.
Yeah, and I will say this, I love it because playing it on my phone as I took the kids around trick-or-treating is awesome. Like, it adds to the ambiance. It's fantastic. So,
last year I did an 80s centric one that I was really proud of because a lot of it is a lot of like 60s garage rock, which I adore, but I just kind of went all out on like 80s last year with trailers and songs, and it was so fun.
It was nice. Really good.
Very
creepy
cool
stuff.
Yep. Peter, where can they find
they can find me? Well, here with you guys, and also on Retro Movie Geek. Which is a little less sane.
a little less,
okay.
Yeah.
A lot less sane. Or they can go to the old one, Forgotten Flicks, to read and hear some of my stuff. Or where else? On Hugh's podcast, The Undead Wookiee, is where I kind of appear most after this. So yeah, and on social medias all over the place, more or less. Almost not Twitter, because that's not Twitter anymore.
X, you're on the X.
No.
Have you been X'd?
Yeah, probably. No, but look all over those places for me. Except
all right. Cool. Okay, so for me, I'm gonna keep this straight. Obviously, Retro Movie Geek, of course. Jay the Dead's new horror movies, which we'll be recording a new one this upcoming Sunday with quite a few movies that we're going to be talking about. And of course, Mom and Pop Video Shop. Check out the YouTube channel where you can find video episodes of this show, as well as Retro Movie Geek, as well as all the stuff that Tyson and I are doing on there as well. And I feel like there was something else I wanted to mention, but I am completely brain farting on what that is. So I guess then, until next time, remember, when it's late at night and you can't sleep, you might find yourself flipping through the channels. And if you do, beware, because you never know when you just might stumble across terror on the tube.